This is the Political Truth Network. Thanks for tuning in today. We're live with Walter Hoy and Dana Cody from the Life Legal Defense Foundation. Walter was again arrested unconstitutionally on charges that the law really just wasn't clear on. We'll get to that and more. We're here with them now. Guys, back to where we left off. Walter, they got a video. They said they had a video of you, and they claimed that you were harassing the workers at the clinic. What did they even mean by that? I couldn't find the video anywhere to view it, to see what happened, what went down, and then other people are saying that they harassed you. How did that whole situation go down there? Can you hear me?
Video.
No.
I have been complaining about being harassed by the volunteer escorts on the sidewalk. No one was listening. And so what we did was just videotape the behavior of the escorts towards me. And at the point, we were just simply going to use it as training, just so that when we prepared others to be sidewalk counselors, they would be fully prepared and know what to expect and be able to maintain a non-violent philosophy. And so we were just simply taping to record it for training purposes. But as it turned out, providentially, that we needed this in court. So it was our videotape. And the videotape clearly shows the behavior of the escorts towards me.
Walter, this is Chris. I got one question. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you pastor full time, don't you?
Yes, I do.
How's this harassment and all this stuff that they're calling you into court for? How does this affect your life as a pastor?
Oh, I tell you, it has had a tremendous impact in terms of my pastoring. The Bible is full of stories and accounts and models where Christians have been persecuted for their faith. Well, our church is no longer academic. It's no longer just a Bible study. It's no longer just a sermon. It's now a reality, and we're actually looking at someone today that you know that is literally being persecuted for his faith, for his conviction. So in many ways, it is strengthening and challenging the members of my church.
Right. The reason I was asking, me and Nate, we go to church, and, we preach all the time, and we understand, the pressure that's put on a young preacher, much less a seasoned man of God that is accountable for a whole church, and how much pressure something like that can put on you.
I am, and I want to be clear on this. I'm not the senior pastor, but I'm riding in the second chariot, so to speak. My senior pastor is Dr. Earl C. Stuckey. He and I work very closely together, and he works with me. And while I am full-time, I'm responsible for the teaching and training and preaching and all of that. And yes, it does have a tremendous impact on the members of our church.
Right. Yeah, I can see how it could.
Well, let me say that if any clinic escorts anywhere are listening, and they're hearing Walter say that it's no longer Bible study, it's real, and we're experiencing it, and it's helping us. They're just finding out that their harassment and their conduct is only helping Walter. I mean, I know it's difficult for Walter. I know that it would be much easier if he could just go stand on the sidewalk and hold his sign and offer information and get on with his life. But the fact that God uses everything to work for good, and we see this happening with Walter. So in my really mature legal vernacular, I want to say, ha, ha, ha. Because, they just think that they can take control, and they are not in control. God is in control.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
I've got one more. Hold on for a second. All right. Is this a sign of how America is going to go entirely, or is this just the insane wackos in California? Well, I mean, what is this going to make a national movement of them silencing more so than now the church and Christians who want to stand up for right?
Well, if the church doesn't wake up, I think it does. What I saw was a lot of people come together in support of Walter. and I think people are waking up. But there's a saying, and we always used to laugh about it when I worked with the legislature, as California goes, so goes the nation.
Yeah.
And I think we just witnessed that with this presidential election, because you now have a country with a Democratic president. I don't even want to call him a Democrat. You have a country with a pro-abortion president, a pro-abortion Congress. California has a pro-abortion governor, a pro-abortion legislature, and you know, our taxes are funding every kind of vile thing you can imagine and funding things that are not necessary. And, you know, take a look at Obama's stimulus package. It's about as stimulating as going out in the driveway and, you know, beating your head on the wall. So, you know, the church needs to wake up big time.
Definitely. You know, 3 points I was writing down is things I see in this myself. First, it's unconstitutional to take a man's right speech away. Second, it tells us, you know, it gives us a hint where our country is heading. And third, this is definitely a warning for Americans that have lost their voice. Americans, alike Christians, because won't even stand up, just the average Joe. The church won't speak up anymore. You know, the church has gone from, you know, back 50 years ago, I remember hearing churches shutting bars down around the neighborhood. Today, the church is sitting quietly and twiddling their thumbs.
Got one last question, and for both of you guys, what do y'all think the chances in a percentage-wise of getting this overturned in the Supreme Court is?
Well, based on the black and white letter of the law, I think the chances are good because Walter was convicted. There were no patients complaining. It was just on the testimony of these witnesses that, you know, were impeached during trial. They were lying. The black and white letter of the law says that Walter doesn't have to retreat if somebody approaches him, that Walter can extend his arm and hand out a brochure, and various other language in the court opinion. So if the court can get past the emotional nature, the political nature of this issue, and follow the law that they've already written, I think the chances are very good.
All right, Walter, what's your opinion on this?
I do also feel the chances are very good, and regardless of the outcome of the Supreme Court case, we are going to continue to pursue this. This is just simply outrageous. This is an attack on all of our First Amendment rights, and I want to encourage every pastor, every Christian, every church to take a look at this. This is essentially what I call a no Christ zone. If you were there on the sidewalk and you were handing out a tract hoping that someone would come to know Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and you just happened to be in front of an abortion clinic, you would be subject to the same penalties that I'm facing right now.
Yeah, for those.
That's exactly right.
All right, for those that missed the beginning, facing a 30-day total of $1,130 and 3 years of probation, which include a 100-yard stay-away order from 200 Webster Street Clinic. Walter, what's your website on? I have it written down, but just for our listeners, what's your website?
Sure. My website is www.issues4, that's the number 4, yeah, life, life.org.
All right, and the Life Legal Defense Foundation is LLDF.org, right?
Correct. It's LLDF for Life Legal Defense Foundation.org.
Okay, and is his case on the front page, or where is that in the website so people can get a look at it?
Right.
Is it? It's on the front page?
Yes.
Okay. One last thing before we let y'all go. Here's a quote from an email I got. I think it was Walter's. Said in an email I recently sent out, you said this, or in an email Walter recently